production of PARtv. This series catches up with the notable figures of the annual BPAC gathering, host to such events as the Brisbane Pinball Masters, the Australian Arcade Championship, AusCongoff, and the Queensland Pinball Tournament. I would like to begin first by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today and pay my respects to the elders past and present. I extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples here today. Sorry for mucking that up. And I also apologize for not doing those acknowledgements of country before any of my other videos. They will be a regular occurrence from here on out. But with that in mind, I would like to welcome my guest for this evening, who was the winner of the Queensland tournament, Danielle Peck. Danielle, how are you doing?
Hello everybody, I am great. We are here, we are living, and I love it. We've got tea, we've got happiness, and we're all good.
Right, cheers. Cheers for the tea.
Cheers, cheers to that, boys.
Lovely. So you're good? That's good to hear.
Yeah, very good. Sorry, I was just like gonna pause, but yeah, no, we're good. We're doing studying at uni, but we, it's all positive. We are genuinely all good. You know what I mean?
Good. I'm very glad to hear that. I think, New Zealand has managed to stay out of most of the horribleness that's happening in the world right now.
For the most part, we are pretty good down this way. We feel very blessed.
That's good. I am very glad. I keep watching Jacinda return even before COVID, and I'm very jealous of you folks for having such a fantastic Prime Minister. She seems to have done a phenomenal job, as is par for the course with her. Beautiful. So, as I said, you are the winner of the Queensland tournament, but you're also very young, so it's very, very impressive. You're 18, you were telling me just before.
Yes, I am 18 years of youth, if you will.
Yes, fantastic. So how long have you been playing pinball for then?
Oh, pretty much the 18 years of my existence. I like to joke that I came out of the womb and went straight to pinball, in a way. But legitimately, though, I have been playing since I was in diapers, just got home in diapers and playing pinball. It was just a thing. One of my famous photos was me playing Rocky and Bullwinkle in my little diapers and just hanging out, you know what I mean? I used to be right into it, still am today. Don't know how that happened, but it did, you know what I mean?
Fantastic. So does your family own pinball machines?
Yes, so it was really my dad who started everything off. He's been collecting pinball machines, sort of buying them since he was 18, I think. He's quite young when he started collecting. Interesting story. But eventually, I was birthed and we started playing competitively. Oh, I'd say about 6 years ago. It might be 8 years ago now, actually. The times are getting on. But all my family's into it now. I've got 2 nephews, 1 niece, and my niece is 4 and my nephews are 8 and 11, I think. Oh, they're getting old too, and they're all into it. My nephews come along to tournaments, so it's all positive. We own 100 and something machines. I think it's about 130 machines. So that keeps us on our toes. That's a lot of pinball to play.
Where do you keep all the machines?
Crazy stuff right here. No, we have a sort of purpose-built sort of house/arcade thing, private arcade thing out in Pukekohe, which is a little rural town in New Zealand, in South Auckland. And we have an 180 square metre games room, and it's ridiculous. But no, it's genuinely very fun and positive, and we have people over for tournaments like Pincade, which is a really big tournament in March, and the Southern Hemisphere Pinball Competition, which should have been on right now, sort of. But unfortunately, travel restrictions have meant that we have had to pause that for now, but we shall revisit it and maybe do it. Hopefully it will continue maybe in September, October, like late September, October. So we'll see how we go.
Fantastic. Oh, I'll have to make sure to come and visit. That sounds like heaven to me.
Feel free to visit any time. We love visitors.
Wicked. Alrighty, so I was going to ask, how did you fall in love with pinball? But I guess you've always been in love with pinball by the sounds of it.
Hey, it was just an intrinsic relationship. It was 100% chance of happening, let's be honest.
That's really, really cool. Do you have a favourite machine?
Oh, that's good question. Good question. See, I like to say my top 3 now because sometimes it's hard to choose. But I'd say that my favourite it's a toss-up C, because I like Alice Cooper's Nightmare Castle by Spooky Pinball. Legitimately, so much fun, made me fall in love with Alice Cooper. Just great, love it. And then I love Batman 66 by Stern, the newer one of that. Dude, it's just the way that it's coded with the modes and the layering of the TV modes, just so much good. My third, so this is weird, might not have heard of it, but Transporter the Rescue, which is a System 11 game, Bally Williams. It's a pretty rare game.
I have played that,
but Yeah, I love the soundtrack, bro, because you know how, what's the game that everyone says they love the soundtrack to, that sort of older one? No, it's not Black Knight. I've forgotten its name. It's the sort of, it's fine, I can't remember, but no, Transport of the Rescue has an underrated soundtrack, and that's the T. But yeah, probably my top three, I'd say.
That's been in a Netherworld a couple of times, and yeah, I love that machine. I love playing Transporter. It is a good one. That's a good pick. Actually, good top three picks there. Yeah, Batman 66. That's like my go-to.
I do. Batman 66, completely underrated because it is hard to sort of learn all the intricacies, but how good. Love it. I mean, don't get me wrong. All of those were sort of newer games, but don't get me wrong, love the old games too. Dolly Parton, Meteor, all of those, love those too. Don't misquote me.
No, definitely not. So I'm glad that you mentioned Alice Cooper's Nightmare Castle by Spooky. You were telling me just before that you do a little bit of work with Spooky on their podcast, correct?
I do just a little bit of work with them, yes. So I'm on their podcast every month, and I do like a little 5 to 10 minute rules segment on their podcast. So I'll discuss, like, for example, I might discuss the rule set for Diner or Fishtails. And, you know, I just get, like, basically I spend 5 minutes teaching people, hopefully, how to start their gaming adventures with certain games. For example, you know, if someone doesn't know how to play Fishtails, like I did that last month, then I'll just be like, hey, you know, shoot the boat, or here's how to get multi-ball, and just that, I just love doing that. So that's my little thing that I do. That's
really cool. How did you get that job?
Oh, okay, so that's actually an interesting story. I didn't expect this question. So, back in the day, it was quite a while ago now. I think it might have even been 2 years ago now. It's honestly going on a long time. I'm feeling really old now. But I
mean, this year's been like 10 years in itself, so.
It has, really. But yeah, Bowen Cairns actually asked me to do a little 60-second tutorial on any game of my choice. And I actually did it on Aerosmith, because that used to be my favourite game, but then obviously that shifted over time. And just from there, Spooky was like, hey, let's get some female representation on the podcast. Let's do that sort of thing, and it'll be fun. Chuck a little bit of, you know, tutorial knowledge on there from me. So that's that, I guess, yeah.
That's really cool. That's really, really cool. Bowen was a guest at the Brisbane Masters last year. Had you met him in person before then?
Oh, girl, yes, I had. Okay, so this is totally embarrassing, but, you know, we're going to keep it fun. So when I was 12, I went to my first ever Pinball World Championship. I went to the IFPA World Championships in Denver.
Sorry, when you were 12?
Sorry. Yeah, sorry, just you know, glossed over that bit. But,
that's amazing.
You know. So yeah, me and my father went, because obviously we're the representatives for New Zealand, and we just happened to be at that time. And I met Bowen when we were in Denver at one of the pre-tournaments at Lions Pinball. And I totally fangirled, and I don't think people know this story, so I'm blushing and very embarrassed. But literally, I told my dad, okay, we got to go get the, like, Pinball 101 DVD cover signed, because you know that, I don't know if you know that DVD exists, but Pinball 101, great thing. And I went up and I was like, can I get your signature, Bowen? And it was like, but it was so fangirly, but awesome guy, love it. Also got Keith Alwyn's signature, so thank you.
Oh, very nice.
12-year-old me was loving it. Fangirling.
He's made some of the best machines ever, Keith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Wow, you've lived quite a life. This is impressive.
Oh, quite a lot. Well, I mean, yeah, I feel very privileged, actually. Me and my family, we travel for pinball. We just sort of integrate pinball into our travel, but also vice versa. I don't know how I was going to say that, but that's how that came out. But like, for example, on the Denver trip, I'm really lucky. My school allowed me to have time off because I'm somewhat studious, I guess. Not completely falling behind, hopefully. And, we travelled across the US. We did a Route 66 trip that when we went to Denver. And so, we did the whole thing, went to Denver and then back on Route 66. And, yeah, fond memories from that. It was really, really good. And meeting everyone for the first time was just legendary. On that trip, I got to meet Joshua Henderson, Danielle Peck, name dropping, that's awful, but it's so much fun. Dude, fond memories for my little 12-year-old self. I can't believe it's been 6 years. Now I really am feeling old.
Don't say that. You're going to make me feel old. So was it like when your parents were planning the itinerary, were they sort of like looking at all the places and then seeing if there were any pinballs? And you're like, oh, well, we can skip that town. There's no pinball parlors there.
We didn't even need to look. That was the funniest thing because Dad sort of had a presence on Pinside, the forum Pinside. And so everyone was just like, hey, you can come to our house and hey, here's a really cool place to go to. So it was really, really cool. I mean, I think they went to Logan's Arcade on that trip, for example, and we got to go to people like Cinder Flank's house. It was so much fun, honestly. And Mum and Dad's favourite, I think the favourite thing that we did on that trip was have Shasta, like this nameless brand cola. Shasta's just like this cheap, I'm about to curse, but shit brand of cola. And it's just a meme. We got to go to the Shasta factory, it was good times. And we drove a hearse. Across Route 66 with 4 machines in the back. 4 machines in the back. And I was about to say we still have all of them, but I think we might have sold a few of them that were in there. I can't remember what they were. I know Elvira and the Party Monsters was one of them, and that was very good. Because you'd pull across the curtains in the hearse and just Elvira would just be there. It was really good.
Tells the Crypt to be a good one to have in the back of a hearse as well.
Oh yeah, that's a concept. We've got to do that next time.
Yeah. I was going to say, that's very appropriate to have an Elvira in there. And
it was just perfect. I think we might have gotten Fireball as well on that trip. So it was just it was good. It was all slightly satanic, but very fun.
So what's the place, if I was going to go to the States and do a road trip, or either the place or the top 3 places that I should stop off at in terms of pinball?
Oh, in terms of pinballs, that changes it. See, to me, the big ones are Indisc. It never drains in Southern California. And no, I don't just say that because I won the women's tournament there one year, but that's fine. But legitimately, they basically Indisc is held at I can't describe this to you. It's in Banning. It's sort of in the middle of nowhere in California. It's Southern California. And this guy, John Weeks, owns an airport just because, and he has his pinball machines in this defunct airport. And it's amazing because I think he's got, I might underestimate this. I thought he had 300 machines, but it might be more than that. So it's just epic being able to go there and play that many. Dude, beats us, man. It might be 500. I think it's 300 though. Might be estimating that wrong, but that's so much fun, bro. Going out into the free play room. Oh, dude, don't even know. But honestly, just want to say mad respect to all of the technicians that work there and work on all the machines because I don't know how they do it. But aside from that, I'd say Texas Pinball Festival is always very fun down in, is it Dallas or Houston? I think it's Dallas or Houston. It's been so long. See, COVID has trapped me in New Zealand, so I've just forgotten everywhere else in the world, It's hard, but that's always fun. And, what's the other one? I'd say Papa, when that starts up again. That used to be in Pittsburgh, and I think that it should still be in Pittsburgh, but obviously there was an issue with their lease coming up on it. I don't even know if it was a lease. They just sold the property, right? So whenever that starts up again, wherever it is, definitely go there. They have about 300 machines too. It's actual, and their upkeep of their machines are nutty good, so good. It's always fun, and all the people who go there are just super fun. I've never been to Pinburg. I also think that if I went there, that would replace TPF, but I don't know. So there you go. Those are my tournaments. To be fair, not really places, but tournaments. But you know, there are also some fun places too. But I'll leave it with the tournaments. I think that's always a good destination.
Yeah, I definitely want to go to Indisc. They're a huge inspiration for me in terms of the quality of streaming for their tournaments. I was very, very impressed.
Oh, it's always so good, eh?
Yeah.
It's always good.
Fantastic.
Dude, Carl D'Angelo's streams are actually so good. I love Carl D'Angelo. He is a legend for the pinball community with all of his streams, and everyone should look up to him because he's a fantastic human being. That's all I've got to say. That might be overselling it, I don't know, but I just think he's awesome.
I'll have to check it out for sure. Cool. So, as I said at the start of this, you were the winner of the Queensland tournament. You said just before that you won at the Indisc women's tournament. How was your how was your impression of the Queensland tournament at BPAC?
It was so much fun. I loved that. So the thing with the Queensland tournament, because Jessica Donato was running it, she chose to do an alternative format with it. So, but basically in the playoffs, you played a best of 3 with another woman, and if you won no games out of, I think it was 3, yeah. I think you might have played 2 games. It's okay, I don't even know my own thing. I'm sure she told you about it on her podcast. I might have completely made it up. But you do an interesting and novelty format, and I loved it, was super fun. And then in the playoffs, what I loved, because it was so alternative, but it like completely suited me, like I love that sort of thing. You got to play like a rotation of games. So you'd play 4 games with 4 other women, and you'd move from machine to machine each ball. I can't explain it. Dude, it was epic. It was crazy. It was weird, and I appreciate it. So because it was different, it's probably one of my favorite tournaments I've been to. Like really fun.
Sorry, so you move each ball. So like, is it all 4 of you playing at once, and then like you sort of move over, and then like okay, that's cool.
Yeah. So like each like okay, we're getting the fingers going. We're getting the hands going. So you got 4 women. One's on one machine, one's on the other, one's on the third one, and one's on the fourth one, and then you just sort of alternate along. And it's just it's weird, but it's really good. I actually really enjoyed it.
That's cool. That sounds really, really fun. Actually, I'd love to give that tournament a go.
What I loved was if someone was playing really good and everyone else just had to wait. Like that's the evil in me just being like, this is great. I love this.
I often do that at work, either in Netherworld or where I work now. We have a couple of pinball machines, and I sort of can't decide which one to play. And so I'll get like 2 or 3 games going at once, and I'll do that just by myself. I'll be like, all right, I'll play that ball here, and then I'll move over there and play that ball. And someone's like, hey man, you gotta finish anytime soon? Because
it's always good. Always the best way to play.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I've been looking at these trophies behind you there. There's quite a few of them. Are they all pinball related?
Let me think about it. I think that they are. Yes, they actually are. I was going to say no, they're not. I thought Dad might have had some of his car racing trophies, but no, they're all pinball. Most of them are from New Zealand, but we've got some, and we've actually got some books on here too. But you can't see those. We got ones from Pincade, the Pukekohe IPA Classic that we have sometimes. Classic. We got some down there that's a Max Beer. Max Beer sponsored us. I got to pull out that one because it's a very exciting trophy. I got to show you this because Dad does. My dad does like really good woodworking. Not to brag, but like I just think he does. And he made these trophies and stuck it like a Max Beer on this wood.
That's
and
wicked.
It's like so well done. Dude, this wood, this is going to be really boring. All of your audience is just going to tune out. But this is Purple Heart Australian wood. And it's actually one of the nicest woods I've ever seen in my life. I'm not going to lie. So if you're in Australia, want some wood, Purple Heart.
All right. I'll check it out. That's very impressive. The one I'm looking at now is the top left one on the screen. It seems to be the biggest one on the shelf. Oh, no.
That one?
Yeah.
Okay. I can follow directions. So, okay. So, not mine. Okay, so I had to check what it was. So Dad got it when he went to the Australian Pinball Expo, and I don't know the full story, but he got second.
Hey,
I can't remember how the story went down. You need to talk to my dad. He's honestly more interesting than I am.
You're plenty interesting. This is phenomenal.
Well, most of them are dads, but work.
So we know that you have this huge space for all of the machines that you guys own, but is there anywhere else that you play in New Zealand? Just turning 18, can you go to any of the pinball parlors and are there any good arcades I should check out?
So it's really interesting. So, it's hard to explain sometimes to people in Australia or America. Oh, well, maybe not Sydney. I feel like New Zealand's sort of like Sydney in a way, because we don't really have on-location pinball like they do overseas. And it's sort of, I guess it's sort of weird. We had a barcade in Auckland open up last year, but that unfortunately due to COVID amongst other things, it had to shut down this year. But Save Ferris was its name, and it had some really good pinball machines in there from our buddies. They put them in there on location. But yeah, unfortunately it's shut down. But one of the good places that is on location, the Boneface Breweries down in Wellington. That's a fantastic place, and in Pincadia down in Christchurch. So in Auckland, there's like nothing, but down there they have really good scenes.
That's perfect. So Boneface Brewery, I got to check out. Is that what you're drinking there?
Oh, so interesting. Oh, yeah. So interestingly, I'm actually non-alcoholic because I'm that person, and I'm drinking kombucha, Lipton white peach kombucha now. We've moved on from hot tea to cold tea, fermented. Love it. So yeah, we're going to try get some more pinball machines up here in Auckland, but Boneface for now, prime location, amazing pinballs supplied by Simon Haxton. He has a really good range down there, like the new Deadpool, the new Star Wars was down there. They had Alice Cooper down there. Girl, such a good range. I think they had, I can't remember how, girl, I got a girl. They got so many good titles, I can't even remember all of them. Had Metallica and stuff. Oh, too good to mention. And Pincadia. Oh, that's also great. Can't deny.
Fantastic. Now, you played in the Masters as well. You didn't just come up for the Queensland tournament. How'd you go in the Masters tournament?
So I don't know what happened after the Queensland, but just felt like I just nosedived, because I did okay in qualifying for the Masters, but then once I got into finals, it just all fell apart. I must have been too tired. Must have had too much excitement from qualifying the day before, because I think I got out in the first round, and then I was just like, I just want to go home. And I was also doing university work at the time, so it was like in the back of my head that I need to get assignments done. But well, next year we won't have that issue because I would have graduated. Hey, but that's
Well done.
it. Thank you.
That's really, really cool. And do you have any plans to stay with pinball as a career choice? I was talking to Colin, and he would love to be a pinball designer. You're talking about rule sets for Spooky. Is there maybe a desire to, become an apprentice under perhaps Bowen?
Ooh, actually, I didn't even think about that. That was an interesting notion right there. Take a sip of that one. To be honest, it sort of wasn't in my head to even really do anything with pinball as a career, unfortunately, only on the basis that I'm so far removed. When you're down in New Zealand, it always feels very sort of secluded. So maybe I'll be a distributor or something. Maybe I'll be an old businesswoman, but I don't know. Honestly, that was really interesting because I hadn't even thought about that. I was just like, I'm just studying psychology. I'll just do that. But I like that notion. Hey, if anyone wants to offer me a job, I'll consider it. You know what I mean? Feel free to ask.
So I've also spoken to Andrew Barrow, who's another Kiwi, and yeah, he has said similar sentiments as you, that it is pretty removed over there in New Zealand. What is the scene like? I mean, you said that there's competitions, and you guys run competitions yourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's really interesting because again, it's sort of, I feel like it's so different from overseas because New Zealand's so small. There's actually 5 million people here now, which is amazing. Used to be 4, but now it's 5. Yeah, our community's really close-knit. People from Christchurch and Wellington will fly up here and we'll fly down there whenever they have tournaments. Not necessarily whenever they have tournaments, but, frequently. And, most, if not all, tournaments are played in private locations, except for in Wellington where they've got Boneface, and they'll go there at times, and down in Christchurch where they've got Pincadia, they'll sometimes go there. But yeah, for the most part, it's all private locations. unlike in Australia and America where you can go play in bars. We try to make a very family friendly thing as well. Like we try to have a lot of kids, like my nephews, come along and come into the scene, and having it private like that sort of does facilitate that a bit better, I think. But it's a really friendly community. Like, dude, I wouldn't replace it for anything else, you know what I mean? Like, it's been really good. It's like a family, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Family.
That's lovely. Now, I've noticed the trophies there, but there's another pinball thing that I'm looking at here. Show us that jumper you're wearing. It is wicked.
Oh, girl, I gotta get up, move away, show you this goodness. So this jumper, you can barely see it because of the poor lighting, but it is the Forever the Flip limited edition hoodie that's sort of under my name, because, he was like, oh, what design would you like? And it's basically a repetition of all of the silly human icons, and it's adorable, it's very warm, and yeah, if you want to get in touch, Neil Hodge runs it. He's a pinball guy from up in Canada. Support the pinball community, and he's just great at designing stuff. It's so cute, so warm. Forever the Flip, number 4. Ever the Flip. It's on Facebook, and you can Google it. But I love his work. He's got so many designs. Feel free to get into it.
And hopefully you have plans to come to the BPAC next year.
Well, spoiler alert, we do have flight credit that we need to use up from Qantas. So if we can, we'll be heading over. As long as you don't have to quarantine for 2 years, it's fine. You know what I mean? See how things go. But definitely intending to come back and defend some titles.
Fantastic. Well, I'm glad to hear that, and I look forward to seeing you there again. For
sure. I'm very excited about it.
I think that's pretty much all we have time for. Before we go, do you want to just reiterate some of those pluggables we've talked about?
Yeah. So let's just go real quick. So if you want this hoodie, Forever the Flip, man, give him some love over there. If you want to find me on Facebook, it's Danielle Peck. I'll just accept your friend request. I don't care. At Danny Rocker on Instagram, DANNI_ROKA. Alternative, but that's good. Don't post on there heaps, but feel free to reach out. And Spooky Pinball Podcast, just find me there. You'll see me. It's all good. And if you want to see pinball in New Zealand as well, forgot to shout that out. IFPA New Zealand. You can find them on Facebook. My dad runs that, and it's good. It's fun times. You can see me and my boyfriend being dorks. Honestly, but it's good. It's lots of fun.
Fantastic. Well, I'm glad to hear it. Thank you so much for being on the show today. Hopefully we get to see you, before the world ends. Can be any day now, but yeah. All right, well,
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for your time. It was lovely catching up. Bye.